Have you been rejected from medical school? First of all, if this happens to you, don't get discouraged and don't give up. Take a deep breath and know that it's not a reflection of your suitability for a career in medicine. Many of us have been where you are. In fact, rejection is the most probable outcome of any medical school application in North America, with close to 60% of all applicants getting rejected. The reality is the spots are few and the qualified applicants many, but that's what this video will be about today. I'm going to help you go through your application to determine why you may have been rejected. Next, I'm going to help you decide if and when you should reapply, and finally, I'll give you tips and strategies to help get you back on your feet and get you accepted next time around. Before we get started, hi, I'm Nadine Evans, an admissions associate at BeMo Academic Consulting. Make sure you subscribe on whatever social media channel you're watching this from now so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. If you'd like us to help you get into medical school, click on the link either above or below this video to schedule your free initial consultation. As a quick tip, check out the timestamps in the description of this video if you're looking to navigate quickly to specific sections of the video. So you didn't get an offer of acceptance to medical school this time around. It can feel deflating, but you're going to try again because getting into medical school requires tenacity, experience with failure and criticism, and a quality dose of luck. You can't conjure luck, but you can definitely improve the others. If you're watching this thinking, I'm a great candidate and they just don't see that, it's a failure of the system, stop right there. That attitude will not allow you to make it count during the next application cycle. You have to own the process and look within to figure out what you can do to be better. You don't have any control over luck nor the system, only over yourself. So the first thing you need to do is to conduct a post-mortem on your application. Is your GPA less than 3.7? If it is, then this is likely your most significant vulnerability given the variability between schools in how GPA is weighted. If no, and your GPA is over 3.9, then there's nothing more to do. If your GPA is between 3.7 and 3.9, you could weigh algorithms in your favor by improving your grades with some variability between schools. I'll discuss how to do that as we progress through this video. Next, you need to consider if your MCAT score is meeting the cutoffs at your target schools. If yes, then there likely isn't much of an advantage to rewriting the MCAT if you're already meeting the cutoffs in all 4 domains of your desired schools. If you meet the cutoffs but just barely, then rewriting to improve your scores may expand the number of schools that you can apply to. If no, then you need to rewrite the MCAT or continue playing the narrow odds at the schools that don't consider the MCAT. Beware that there is a limit to the amount of rewrites you can do per year and per lifetime. Do you have an excellent MCAT and GPA, but you still didn't get any interviews? If so, then it's likely that there are some serious issues with your medical school personal statement or other areas of your application, such as the AMCAT's work and activities section, or even in your letters of recommendation. So this is where you need to seek expert help to review your medical school applications. It's essential that you do this so you can figure out what went wrong and how to do better the next time. Next, were you invited for interviews at the schools to which you met the admissions criteria? If yes, interviews are a preliminary stamp of approval on your candidacy. You're doing something right. If you made it to the interview stage, even if your GPA and MCAT scores are barely to standard, then your goal should be to improve your interview performance. At McMaster, Ottawa, NYMC, Rutgers, and any other universities using Casper, your focus should lie with Casper test prep when it comes around during the next application cycle. If you got an interview and you have amazing grades and MCAT scores, the post-mortem is easy. You need to interview better, and you should ask for help preparing for your med school interview or your multiple mini interview preparation. If you're getting interviews with a GPA below 3.7 and barely there MCAT scores, you're probably a well-rounded candidate. If you're not getting in these cases, there's probably 2 likely reasons. First, you may ace the interview, but your academic metrics ultimately bring you down in the final admissions algorithm. Second, you may not actually interview as well as you think. Next year, with the same academic metrics, there's a good chance that you will be interviewed again, but it depends on the pool of applicants. If the GPA of the pool went up, you may not squeeze by. Or if the algorithms change, you may not get an interview. You could risk it and just work on your interview skills, or you could work on your interview skills while also improving your GPA and MCAT. If you were interviewed and waitlisted, then you should definitely apply again. The applicant pool is different every year and you just never know. If you were interviewed and not waitlisted, apply again only if you think that you can shift the dial on any of these following items. Number 1, rolling applications. If you're applying in the US, admissions are typically rolling. Most US applicants apply in their first week of applications opening, which is at the start of June. So you have to be at the very front of the line because you could have been rejected because you didn't apply soon enough, so all the interview and class spots were already taken. 2, GPA. If you can improve your GPA with one more year of undergraduate training within the same degree, prepare to apply. If you can't do that within 1 year, then you should wait until you can. This might mean taking on another undergraduate degree, which I'm going to discuss as we progress through the video. 3, the MCAT. If you can rewrite it to improve your score, then you should do it. But if your score is already above cutoffs for most schools and is in the top 20% of scores, then rewriting may not add that much to your application. Number 4 is the number of schools. If you were really selective about your target schools, pitch to a wider tent to the extent that your MCAT and GPA allow. This can include schools in different countries, including those in Europe and the Caribbean, as long as you understand the professional consequences of training outside North America. Many people do very well, but some do struggle to find work in specialties that match their objectives. Number 5, improve your interview skills. If you believe you had everything I mentioned already in order, then you have to seriously consider improving your interview skills because it's likely that this is the area that's holding you back. If you meet admissions criteria but you don't get invited for an interview, then you need to work on your non-academic CV, your personal statements, and your reference letters. Academic improvements should be your focus if you're not meeting criteria. So first, let's consider your GPA and the improvements that you could make. A second undergraduate degree would give you a whole fresh new chance at a high GPA. The downside is that it really must be full-time, which makes it hard to earn a living and start repaying off your debt from your first degree. Another consideration is that a second undergraduate degree may not make you more employable, which matters if medicine never actually does work out for you. The upside is that you will generate marks that can actually shift the balance on your application if you're serious about pursuing medicine. It's not an intellectual feat anymore to get very good undergraduate marks, so if you're disciplined, those grades are there for the taking. A good option around a second undergraduate degree is nursing. Nursing programs are available as Bachelor of Science degrees in as little as 2 years. Nursing is an awesome career which provides an excellent option if medicine doesn't work out. Nursing education can take you closer to working with patients, which could be rewarding for someone who's interested in becoming a doctor. If not a different undergraduate degree, then a master's degree would add less than a point to your existing GPA. This may help, and a master's degree can pave the way to an interesting career, but a master's degree in Canada and the US is no walk in the park. It's definitely a lot of work just to be a means to an end. You should only pursue one if there's something you really care about and have found a quality program with a strong supervisor. If you only care about being a doctor, then don't go for the master's, and above all, don't go for a PhD. Decent research positions with fulfilling teaching opportunities are like rare gems, so only pursue advanced graduate training if you believe you will be happy and effective in this role. Another potential path is taking additional courses. Usually the addition of random extra courses doesn't help that much because they need to be taken as part of a full-time program or study. But if you can add extra courses to make up a minor or to extend your GPA by a year, then this could improve your GPA. This will work if you're not already on track to graduate in 4 years and have the institutional flexibility to get a combined degree. If you've got something like this on mind, speak with an academic advisor to figure out your options at your school. As you'll have some time off, it's a good idea to also consider non-academic improvements to your application, i.e. employment or volunteer experience. This should be the focus of your efforts if you're one of the candidates with excellent statistics and no interview invite. Take a look at each category of non-academic entries on the sketch for your target schools. Look at where you had the fewest, weakest entries, and that's the area that you need to focus on. I want to reiterate that this is the area you should focus on if you're not getting interviews and your academics don't need any work. I want to quickly mention extracurriculars. If you're listening to this and thinking, oh, if I just get one more publication or if I just join one more club, then I'm a definite guaranteed thing for next year. Think again. Extracurriculars and research experiences are important, but they aren't usually deal breakers in your application. If your GPA and MCAT are excellent and your extracurricular, employment, or research activities are acceptable, then don't go fishing through your CV for changes that you can make. It has to be the interview or the personal statement, so definitely try again and focus on improving those areas. If your GPA or MCAT are mediocre, still don't go looking through your CV for changes. In this case, it has to be your GPA or your MCAT. And if you need a few years to figure these out and improve them, then it's worth taking. Students often ask us, what are my options for a plan B? If you choose to take a gap year or a few years before reapplying, for example. So in addition to the MCAT and the GPA improvement plans that I mentioned, there are other considerations to make depending on whether you've completed your undergraduate degree or not. There are a category of education options popping up for people who have completed degrees but need a program designed to improve the chances for entry to medical school. For example, the Health Science Initiative out of Johns Hopkins University is a one-year program designed to boost grades inside a premier research network. Programs like this exist at Eastern Virginia Medical School, Drexel University, Mount Sinai, University of Chicago, and Boston University. One-year master's programs are also increasingly becoming available in Canada, and they're completely standard in the United Kingdom. If your application is strong in all areas, you'll eventually get in as long as you're applying widely enough. So you could work for a year, take a paid internship with a nonprofit, or get a research fellowship. When you aren't pushing for better grades, your options are much wider for the year between cycles, and you can be confident that things will eventually work out in your favor. Just be careful that you're not taking 6 months off to recover from your undergraduate experience, because that'll be difficult to explain later on. Schools want people who are pushing themselves. No one in their early 20s needs 6 months to recover, with the exception of those facing health, physical, or mental, or bereavement issues. Most of the time, the answer is apply again. But don't be foolhardy or overly cynical. You need an approach, and you probably need some coaching. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we can get you on the best path for you, because it's critical to receive professional feedback on your application to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes again and avoid further delays and unnecessary costs. Sadly, most medical schools don't provide feedback on your application. You might think that it's unfair given the fact that you've paid for your application to be processed by their admissions officers, and in fact the feedback could be used as proof that your medical school application was fairly assessed. I totally agree that this practice is unfair, and medical schools should really be implementing fair measures to address this issue, and if your application has been rejected. But we're here to help you by filling in the blanks as to what might have happened in the process. So this wraps up another one of our videos, so please subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you have any questions that I didn't cover in today's video. Do you need more advice for how you can get into medical school? If you let me know, then I'll get back to you with my recommendations. Finally, if you'd like us to help you with your medical school application next cycle, click on the link either above or below this video to schedule your free initial consultation. Keep your head up, get in touch, and I'll see you next time.